Hello guys, this is Jonathan Munoz, and today I'm going to teach you how do I write a letter of recommendation when I have a medical student or when I have an assignment. And the reason why I underscore some words in the next paragraphs is because when we are in the situation of writing a letter of recommendation for a certain type of program, let's say research, community, we have to pinpoint what are the goals of this program that align with your goals. So, for example, the letter that we're going to work on today is for a community program that works heavily with underserved populations or low-income populations, which are a lot of residency programs in the United States. Most of them work with a heavy amount of low-income populations. So basically, this letter could apply for all the residency programs, and you could tweak it and add your little research here and there, but understanding that it's not all about your qualifications in paper, because those are in your CV, but this is more about getting to know the person, the quality of the person, the energy of the person. Is it going to be easy to work with this person? Is this person really going to come to be the glue of our team? Is this person going to bring something significant, something new? Is this person at par with the American residents? So let's start with the opening. So for the opening, as always, we start with the Dear Program Director work, and everyone does the it is my pleasure to write a letter about Dr. Munoz, and that's fine. But most of them stop at that point, and that is one big mistake, because we want to make this letter personal. We want to make this letter that makes the reader think that the attending of this medical student wanted to write this letter at the end of the rotation. He really wanted to vouch for you. And how do we say that, or we do that, achieve that, is by adding the right wording. So for example, in this one, I wrote, "It is my fervent hope that this attest statement will assist in his application to your residency program." That's more than enough. It's a little too much, actually, but it kind of conveys that strength, that idea, that desire that I have to vouch for my medical student. And then we continue with a little bit of who am I and why am I writing this letter? Where am I working right now? Because the reader has to know what is the context of the experience that this medical student had, that Dr. Munoz had. So it may align to the kind of residency program that he's applying. If you're applying to internal medicine residency, the observership that you did will be important for them if it's in the same category. So for example, in this one, we give a little bit of this description of the attending role, and we use the first buzzword, if you want to call it that, or you want the one big word in medicine, which is the mentoring, the word that we use a lot to describe teachers or people that we look after. So I have had the honor to mentor numerous students, but Dr. Munoz is one of the few that has impressed me with his commitment and advocacy. And remember, this is going to a heavily low-income program that works with poor people, that needs someone that is humble, that needs someone that is able to work with any kind of problems. So we start, this is the opening. We start creating not only the context where we're going to start talking about this medical student, but how is this related to the residency program? Okay, so this is the opening. Let's go to the body of the letter of recommendation. For this part, I just want to make sure that you understand why am I using these words. To coordinate care. He rapidly learned how to coordinate care because the reason why you do an observership is because you're halfway. You know part of the United States healthcare system, but you don't know exactly how it works deep inside. So during this observership, this attending is saying that he rapidly learned how to coordinate care with other team members. Why? Because the internal medicine family practice team member inside the hospital is not just the resident. It involves nurses, social workers, physical therapists, case managers. So you don't do everything yourself. You assign and distribute roles to each of them. Most importantly, you have to follow up on each assignment that these people had, because that's the way you give them assignments, they report to you, and you make your decisions based on these assignments. So and I follow with he completed all the assignments before heading home. Why? Because it is a concern that many residents don't finish their work at the end of the day and they leave it for the next day, in theory causing delay on discharges. And then the next line is for the transition safely from the hospital to home. Why? Because all we were doing at the hospital as residents, as doctors, attendants, is when we discharge a patient, we want to provide them enough information, enough resources for them to transition from the hospital to their homes. We wanted for them to have their physical therapy evaluations on time, making sure that they're able to walk, making sure that we're not missing, that maybe they are deconditioned right now. And so these lines are important because for me, as a program director of an internal medicine program, I would be like, okay, Munoz seems to be aware of what we need to do in the most critical rotation of the residency program. A little blah, blah, blah here and there, and I start mentioning more about his understanding of working with vulnerable populations, and that this comes not just from this time in the United States or the need that he has, but this work, these experiences come from long ago, from the time that he was a medical student in Peru, not just when he came. So I made a distinction of this because this is important. We want to know that you have commitment with this process, with this type of work. For this year, I'm thinking that I'm gonna be heavy on mentioning about how the students, how the observers have been working on the COVID-19 pandemic, because we have been seeing a lot of burnout, a lot of tiredness, a lot of irritability in healthcare workers. So the way that we will describe in your letter of recommendations, how was your response, how were your reactions, I think it will create a good piece of information to the reader, to the program directors that will evaluate your letter of recommendations. Mentioning that you didn't run away from the hard work that COVID brought to us. We could say you didn't run away. He was always up to continue working hard. He was always ready to come and help. So that is part of the body that I'm bringing. I'm bringing a lot of your personality. See, I'm not going in detail on your achievements or anything. I'm just mentioning what are your qualities as a doctor, because that's what I need to know. I need to know as a program director that you are ready to work, that you can work doing these rotations that we're going to assign you to residency. In this part, as a follow-up of the body, I reiterate that what is my goal with this letter. My desire through this letter is to convey what an important and critical team member Dr. Munoz is. And with these lines, I'm also coming out of my way to say, hey, don't miss out on this guy. And remember, this letter is, even if you think it should be written in the best English, it should actually be written in a simple English that is easy to understand and easy to read. And most importantly, that denotes that there was a connection, there was a relationship between the attending, the preceptor, and the observer, student, you. And I mentioned a little more about your quality of work and how this is above average in different words, because above average is commonly used. And a little more, I go in detail a little more on what he used to do or what Dr. Munoz was doing during the rotation. Now I talk about your communication style, because your communication style is important. It's you don't think about the word communication style being something significant, but in medicine, your communication style can be what makes you efficient or what becomes a barrier to you. For example, my communication style is to be very friendly, very social, very open and direct about what I need to know in the day, what I communicate to my patients. So for me, I'm very easy to obtain information. I'm very easy to ask for favors. I'm very easy to get things done because I'm respectful, I'm humble, I'm easygoing, I work hard. So my communication style is fluent. It's at work, it's fluent. It's someone that it's easy to work with and communicate and to create a workflow. It is noted that some residents are not able to communicate to the attending, to the patients, to the nurses. And that's one of the reasons why many residents are starting to be flagged to go into remediation. Then the next one is helping to make the team more effective. Why? Because we're just going in this circle of saying his communication style, his quality of work makes the team more efficient, more effective, allowing for educational time. And in this part, I don't have to say, if I say this, I don't have to say, oh, he presents, he goes out of his way to make presentations. No, because I'm already saying that he is a very proactive person and that what he does allows for us to have more educational time. If I am noting that I'm mentioning that this allows for educational time, it's because of his work. It is implicit. So that is another line that I like to add. And the next paragraph, through his understanding of the challenges of the underserved and how he knows how to navigate the healthcare system, I'm just reiterating this paragraph could go and be replaced with something else. But in this one, I like the mentioning in the specifics of the social determinants of health, because it's something that is is very hot right now in medicine. People are paying a lot of attention to the social determinants of health. And I say financial struggles, health literacy, cultural barriers, because these are those social determinants of health. And patient-centeredness, you always have to mention patient-centeredness. And I finish with more about the pandemic. Nothing too much. This paragraph could go, but I would like to keep the mentioning that he is aware of these barriers and how this is a social determinant of health work. To finalize, I just close with talking about a little summary of who he is in a one-liner, and just saying that please consider this applicant to your program. And I think that is it to it. You don't have to add more color, more sentiment to this. I think that this is enough, and you could even close by saying if you feel like you need more information, just send me an email and provide your email. But I think that this should do. And so the next slide is the whole letter of recommendation. Hopefully this was useful to you, and hopefully you can use this to guide how you create a letter of recommendation for your students, or how you can present this to your attendees and say, hey, this guy is doing a letter of recommendation. If you want ideas, this could help you. All right, guys, thank you.